Think of what AMG is to Mercedes, of what M is to BMW. That's what CUPRA is to Seat. They've spun off the CUPRA sub-brand to give more emphasis to their performance models. So just how performance is the 2021 CUPRA Leon. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and hit the bell icon to get notified of all our future uploads. I think we should start with the logo. And some people have come out to say they don't like the logo, which I don't really understand. I think it looks quite cool, a bit futuristic. It looks like something you'd see in a sci-fi movie or a video game or like a gaming computer brand. So I think it's quite nice. And if you come back here, you can see the full LED headlights with this like triangle design. And at the top on the surrounds, there are also these little triangle diamond shapes, which I think looks pretty good. And as part of the CUPRA Leon package, you also get a more aggressive body kit, which at the front means all these extra flicks and swooshy bits and a front splitter. As part of the CUPRA package, you also get these 19-inch diamond cut alloy rims and CUPRA branded black brake calipers. And if you move along the side, you can see that it's got some nice details as well, like on the side mirror, the indicator light actually spans the whole length of the mirror. And of course, you also get keyless entry, which, as you can see, it just unlocks perfectly fine. But I have realized, and I don't know if it's an issue specific to this car or it's going to be the same on all cars, but it doesn't always lock. So I have the key and I don't know if there's something special I'm supposed to be doing, but here's how it looks like when it does lock. And then the CUPRA also gets these very nice body lines, which when combined with the low slung roof, which only comes up to my chest, it looks sleek and aerodynamic. But if you don't like the hatchback body styling, there's also a sports tourer wagon version with four-wheel drive and a bit more horsepower. And if you don't like the Nevada white this car comes in or any of the other available colors, you can always hit up our friends at Voss Automotive. With a keen understanding of vinyl wraps, paint, and custom automotive bodywork, Voss is the best option you have to give your car a 360-degree transformation without breaking the bank. In the back of the CUPRA Leon, we get this rear deck-lit spoiler, rear LED tail lamps that match the design of the fronts actually, but the back also incorporates this full-length LED light bar that when lit up actually looks quite cool. And when you come down here, you can see the rear diffuser specific to the CUPRA Leon and also quad tailpipes, which, let me just check, are real. Now to get into the boot of the CUPRA Leon, all you have to do is push up on the logo, pull it up. It's not electric, but CUPRA says that this car has 380 litres of boot capacity. But I mean, who knows how much 380 litres is, right? So I'm just gonna climb in and show you how much space there is, which is actually quite a fair bit. And if I wanted more space, I can always lower down the rear seats to give myself more room for a friend or some things. Overall, I think the CUPRA Leon is a looker. It looks as how I feel a hot hatch should look. It's sleek, it's low slung, and it's got enough of that I'm a hot hatch aggressiveness to it that I feel every hot hatch should have. So 2 thumbs up for the CUPRA Leon there. Bro, look at this lah. It's damn hot today, you know. Which means, right, your car is also hot, and if you want to protect your car's paint from heat damage, you can use 3K Defense from KGC Workshop. Established in 2016, 3K Defense is customized for Singapore's weather, providing you with the most suitable coating for our climate to protect and shine your car. The back seats of the CUPRA Leon, even though it's a hatchback, they're surprisingly spacious. I have decent legroom, I have more than decent headroom, and the seats are fully leather, comfortable. I've got in the center here the vents for the rear aircon. I can charge my phone. I've got 2 USB Type-C charging ports. If I had children in child seats, I can put them in either seat back here. And if nobody is using the center seat, I can lower the center armrest with some cup holders. And if I'm not using cup holders, I can further lower it for access to the boot, so I can put longer items in, such as skis or golf clubs. And as an added bonus in the rear, the front seats have holes in them. So if I wanted to, I could tickle the back of my friend's neck. So the front seats of the CUPRA Leon, they're both leather, they're both heated, and while it is electric on the driver's side, it is only manual on the passenger side. So if that's an issue for you, that's for you to decide. But as seats, they function really well. They're comfortable and they hug you nicely, although if you're a larger individual, the thick side bolstering may be an issue. But anyway, on the seats, you can also notice this bronze accent stitching, which actually carries over throughout the whole car. So for example, the sides of the air vents and on the steering wheel. Speaking of which, this steering wheel is multifunction and all these buttons are used to control the fantastic digital gauge cluster. So the digital gauge cluster is probably my favorite feature on the interior of this car. It's fully configurable, I can set it however I want, I can see my temperatures, G meter, throttle percentage, I can see a lap timer. It's great, I really have no complaints. And behind that, I have the excellent wraparound ambient lighting that looks really, really good. But that brings me to the point of this car I hate the most, which is this. Can you see it? No. Exactly. There are no longer any buttons for your normal car functions. All I'm left with are these touch-sensitive pads for my volume and my aircon controls. And that's an issue because, let's say for example, I start my journey and I want to turn off the auto start stop feature like everybody else does. I can't just do that with a button, nope. I have to find the car icon, tap on that, find smart assistance, tap on that, and then turn off the start stop system. And it's the same story if I want to change my fan speed, where I want my aircon to blow, or my drive modes. And one, it's annoying. Two, it's just dangerous because your eyes are off the road for extended periods of time to do basic car things. And it's horrible. But not all things about this infotainment system are bad. I have a Beats audio system, which is actually pretty nice. And I have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So coming down from the infotainment system, we have wireless charging and two more USB Type-C ports. Behind that, we have the engine start-stop button and the nipple gear shift lever. This car also has a surprising amount of interior cabin space. I have cup holders, I have a pretty big glove box and very decently sized door bins. So other than the fact that I have no more buttons, it's actually a very functional interior. So that's about it for the interior. Now let's go see how she drives. So here are the headline figures for the CUPRA Leon. The CUPRA Leon is powered by a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine pushing out 300 horsepower and 400 Nm of torque. Power is sent to the front wheels through a 7-speed DSG gearbox, and the CUPRA Leon can go from 0 to 100 in 5.7 seconds and on to a top speed of 250 km an hour. CUPRA also claims fuel efficiency of 14.9 km per litre. So what do all those stats mean? Well, I'm going to show you with this little thing called launch control. So to activate launch control, all you have to do is turn the traction control to sport or off, put the gearbox in sport, put your left foot on the brake, right foot on the gas, and off you go. Now this being front-wheel drive, it's not as aggressive a launch as you get in some of CUPRA's 4-wheel drive offerings, but once you get going, just you're down the road riding that wave of power and torque. On the expressway or when you're driving along an open road, it does get pretty noisy in the interior because of the big rims and low profile tires. Quite a bit of road noise gets in through the cabin. Now, as you might expect, this car does come with your usual array of driver safety and assistance features such as lane keep assist and cruise control, although the cruise control in this car isn't adaptive. But it's not a big issue. Driving along, nice open road in front of you, I have it set in cruise control and I can cruise on by. So one thing I have realized though is that this car is a little bit thirsty. So CUPRA claims 14.9 kilometers per litre of fuel consumption, but in my driving, which I will admit is a bit spirited, I've only averaged about 10. So it is a bit of a far cry from the claim figures. Spirited driving requires your engine to be in top shape. Therefore you need SPC lubricants, where protection is everything. For the most part, this CUPRA Leon drives like a normal hatchback, except when you floor the throttle. It does take a while to kick down the gears, but once it's in its power band, it just goes and you can zip through traffic like no one else. So the CUPRA Leon has this thing called dynamic chassis control, which is basically your 4 driving modes. But except in this, I can choose from a slider of 15 different levels how stiff I want my suspension to be. But I found in my driving, my favorite mode to be in is individual, with everything set to CUPRA, so the hardest, raciest mode, and the suspension set to the softest, because in its hardest setting, the suspension does get quite a bit bouncy and jittery as you drive along normally. Now the car actually sounds pretty good. Can you hear that? And just like that, in CUPRA mode, it does make some pops and bangs, although most of the sound still is piped in through the speakers, but still, it's still quite fun. Now the steering in this car is quite light actually, even in its sportiest setting, but is responsive, and I can still feel, a good amount of the road through the steering. Into a corner, the grip feels confidence inspiring. You really feel like you can throw the car in and it's just going to stick with you. The rear does get a little lively sometimes, but that's not to be unexpected of a hot hatch, and it's not something I'm complaining about. The car feels like it's playful, and it knows that, and it wants you to play with it. And it just feels lively and sprightly. Now, out of the corners, the differential manages the power pretty well, and although you can detect a hint of torque steer, it's not too bad, and it's easily manageable. And when you're done driving like a loon, and you need to catch your breath and you reach home, it's okay. The car can park for you. All you have to do is turn on the park assist, hope it finds a lot. Will it find a lot? It's found a lot. And then let the car take over. All you have to do is control the brake and change the gears when it tells you to change the gears. And the car will do everything else for you. Gone are the days where you have to worry about parallel parking and making sure you don't hit anybody else. The car will do it for you. We're living in the future. And then when you're done, just turn off the engine and you're free to go. As a whole, I think this car, well, minus the infotainment system, is an excellent option because I think it looks good, it drives nicely, and at just over $237,000 at the time of filming, it represents excellent value because when you compare it to the Golf GTI, on which it's basically the same car, the Golf GTI only costs about $1,000 less, but this has almost 60 more horsepower. If you think about it, when you go to McDonald's and they ask you whether you want to upsize your meal for like 50 cents, it kind of enhances your dining experience. You get more fries, maybe twister fries now, and more drink. Except in this case, the upsize is 60 more horsepower. So to me, as to which one I would pick, it's a no-brainer. So if you're looking to get this car, you're gonna need insurance. And if you want insurance, you can look for our friends at Direct Asia. As the only direct insurer with the highest NCT, lifetime repair guarantee, and flexible coverage, Direct Asia protects your car so you can have greater peace of mind and you can enjoy the moments that matter. Because what drives you matters most. Get a quote now at directasia.com or call 6665 5555 today. Thank you very much for watching this episode of mReview. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again on mReview.
Motorist